since he was traded last September. But early in the third quarter, the Raiders have problems. They're winning 17-0, but we've got miscommunication in the backfield, and this would lead to the Bears getting on a roll. They take over, they'd score a touchdown at 17-7. Then Chase Daniel, who generally was bad yesterday, is good here. There's a nice throw for Allen Robinson, who had 7 catches, 97 yards. Bears have come all the way back to take the lead. If that was a question, would the Raiders have the answer? The answer to that is yes. On a third down, it's Carr. Foster Moreau.
Of course.
Where'd this guy come from?
Of course it's Foster Moreau.
LSU is the answer. 4 catches, none bigger than that one. It's a Raider first down, and then later in the drive, under 2 minutes to go, John Gruden says we're going to smash it down your throat, and they do. Jacobs powers it home. Raiders go in front, 24-21. So the Bears get the ball back, 90 seconds to go. It's Chase Daniel. He's looking. It's Chase Daniel. He's regretting that throw. Nobody there but Raiders, who get the win 24-21. And John Gruden is psyched up.
I don't have a disco in here. I don't have a disco. Well, let's all start dancing.
I had John Gruden on my show every week for 11 years. I never saw that. And I'm here with the father-son movie team of Rex Ryan and Pat McAfee here this morning. This was the Khalil Mack revenge game.
Right.
What do you think of it?
Well, I just think I love it at the end with Gruden because he's basically rubbing their nose in it.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, hey, he gets the opportunity. They're not going to play him again for 5 more years or
Right.
whatever. But he flat out rubbed their nose in it right there. And look, the trade was awful. There's no.
So it doesn't justify the trade.
Doesn't justify the trade. But this right here, that's as good as it gets.
Then here's the thing. You can say it doesn't justify the trade, and I don't disagree. But imagine the conversation we're having this morning if Khalil Mack has 3 sacks and the Bears blow the Raiders out.
Yeah, we continue to bury John Gruden for it. And I think this was a big vindication spike game for John Gruden. This was Super Bowl. Everybody buried him, including me, because he came out and said some of the least self-aware comments in the history of the game about it's hard to find a good one. When you get one, you got to keep it. You had a great one in Khalil Mack. You get rid of him. This was his Super Bowl. And afterwards, the dancing was incredible. He said, I'm 56 years old. This is the most fun I ever had. Man, like Gruden always tags it. He's won a Super Bowl. He's got a chance to talk to you on a weekly basis. He did Monday Night Football. And this game in London town is the most fun he's ever had because he knew everybody was ready to bury him if Khalil Mack made a play.
And now he's sitting at 3-2, and I got to be honest with you. Maybe am I the only one who, as I'm watching them play right now, I'm thinking, you know, if they had Antonio Brown and he was like invested and back to what Antonio Brown once was, how good might the Raiders be?
Well, I mean, what's this team missing on offense? A number 1 receiver.
Yeah, they're missing Antonio
It's too
Brown.
bad the one guy went crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that basically is the circumstance. Are the Raiders right now shaping up to be a potential playoff team in what looks like a reasonably weak AFC?
Well, it's impossible to say they're not because they're 3-2.
Right.
So, yeah, they got as good a chance as anybody, and they're playing well. The thing they're doing right now, they're playing a certain style of football, running the football, and playing better on defense. They have a chance in every game.
Chargers lost yesterday. Chiefs lost yesterday.
Yep.
Look around the AFC. The AFC North teams don't look that good. The Raiders feel like they're actually in the mix.
And I think you have to give a lot of credit to Mike Mayock, a guy who came right off of television into running a team. He said he's going to find their type of people. He pays Antonio Brown a lot of money. The amount of distractions that happen in training camp are next level. YouTube saw it. Hard Knocks saw it. Everybody saw it. And somehow, some way, Mike Mayock and Gruden have been able to build a team full of players that we don't know.
Right.
Literally have no idea who that guy is, and get them playing winning football. That's impressive stuff for the Raiders.
Oh, by the way, in Chicago, where are all the people who said we're better with Chase Daniel right now than we would be with Mitch Trubisky?
I might have been wrong there. I think I was a guy that said that. But let's not take London games too serious. It's a whole break in a routine. There's a different town. There's different accents. There's different stadiums. It's not normal for NFL players to go over there and play well like the Raiders did. Let's not judge everything off of this. But Chase Daniels let me down yesterday.
Let me say this, though, Rex. If the Bears had blown out the Raiders yesterday, no one would have given the Raiders the excuse that it was London and that's an unusual game. I give them a lot of credit for playing great. And you know what? The Bears didn't show up yesterday. And in a division where the Packers just beat Dallas on the road yesterday, that's a bad, bad loss.
No, that's a huge loss. And when you look at it, you know, first off, Nagy, we all praised him. He was coach of the year, did a hell of a job. But really, the coach of the year might have been Vic Fangio for that team last year. We're kind of seeing it a little bit now. Play to your defense. They got to find some kind of running game that'll help out regardless of who's at quarterback. Bob Avellini can be a quarterback. You better run the football some. And I think that's what they need to do. Chase Daniels, 3 guys could have picked off that thing for the Raiders. I mean, that wasn't the answer.
That was a terrible performance by the Bears yesterday, who needed help to get back in the game and then wind up losing. Meanwhile, if you're thinking about the AFC playoff picture, you're thinking about the Browns, and you'll see them tonight.
Yup.
Week 5 Monday Night Football.
There's my guy.
Jimmy G and the unbeaten 49ers hosting Baker and the Browns, 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6.
Let's talk about the NFC. I'll admit it. I thought that Krirk Cousins apologizing to receivers was a weak move. His performance yesterday, anything but. 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, both to that receiver, Adam Thielen, that he apologized to. But all was well after a 28-10 win over the Giants.
We trust Krirk a lot because he doesn't care what people say about him. He just comes to work. He does everything he has to do, and he goes and balls out like he did today.
I love the game of football. I love giving everything I got on Sundays, and I anticipate doing the same thing each and every week. So as far as like with the things going outside of external, I mean, I'm more focused on the things that's internal and my mind, my body, my spirit.
Do you want to be in Minnesota?
Yeah, I want to be in Minnesota.
A little winky.
Subtle. Crazy subtle there. Listen, I don't want to be knee-jerk here, but after what we saw from Krirk Cousins yesterday, he is the greatest quarterback of this generation. Honestly, though, with all the criticism, I mean, what do you make of what you saw from him?
I mean, it was needed, right? I mean, he should not have to apologize for playing the Giants defense. So it was a good performance by him. They got play action going a ton, which is a big part of his success, and he got Thielen going, which is obviously the narrative of last week. I think he threw for about 158 yards on play action, 80 of them were to Thielen. So a really good job of answering the call this week, right? Like, did they quiet the critics for 6 days? Yes, until they have to play the Eagles next week. But a good performance on the road against a really bad Giants defense.
Pat, here's the thing. Right?
Really bad.
They're really bad. And the point is that we always want to anoint the Vikings. Is it okay to say that we don't know if they're any good after beating the Giants?
I think it's very okay to say that about any team this far into the season. And I want to be the first to say that I buried Krirk Cousins just a week ago. I said that he stinks. I said that Adam Thielen should be coming after him. Stephon Diggs, you can skip all the work that you want if Krirk Cousins is your quarterback. Then I had a little awakening from our friend Matt Hasselbeck, who told me he didn't think any of that was towards Krirk Cousins. He thinks it was towards Zimmer and the offensive strategy of the Vikings, where Zimmer just wanted them to run the ball, dink and dunk, where they're paying Stephon Diggs, Thielen, Kyle Rudolph. And I don't think any of the shots were meant to be at Krirk Cousins, even though he apologized, which Dan hates. Maybe you should apologize sometimes, Dan. Might make you a better person. But I think now the Stephon Diggs $200,000 fine and the sit out and all the drama is potentially going to be what saves this Minnesota Vikings team. Make them reevaluate themselves, make them rethink themselves. You saw them take a lot more shots, and that offense looked a lot more efficient than it had in weeks past.
You should apologize for wearing the shirt.
It's a good shirt. My friends,
we are back on the shirt.
My friends at Mr. Burberry made it, I believe. No big deal. I live well.
You see that humble brag right there that he just dropped?
No
that
big
name he just
deal.
dropped, Greeny? Do you want to pick it up? Or do you
I want to do absolutely anything to move on in the conversation. So let's move it on.
Good show, Mike.
No.
You got a good show here,
Stop,
Greeny.
make it stop.
Let's get up and go to Deshaun Watson. Orlovsky, he had his way with the Falcons yesterday. Threw for 5 touchdowns. Are we talking about him enough?
Absolutely not, Greeny. I would say he's the second or third best player in football right now in the conversation with Mahomes and Christian McCaffrey. He's been remarkable this year. We've talked about all the hits that he takes and how much he's been beat up. When you give this kid time, he is as remarkable a player as we see in the NFL in his ability to throw the ball downfield.
All right, so you saw how well he played yesterday. What you might not have seen was his post on social media after the game. That is a picture of Deshaun Watson, and one of the other 2 men in that picture is Jalen Ramsey. The rest of Ramsey's Jaguars teammates who are in North Carolina playing the Panthers. We know Ramsey's been vocal about wanting a trade out of Jacksonville. Dan, what do we take from this?
Yeah, this is a gutsy decision. I would say that Jalen Ramsey will never play for the Jags again. He's making it very clear that he is not going to be a part of their football team. Hanging out with Deshaun Watson post-game says it all.
Boy, he could really tilt the balance of power almost anywhere he winds up. Let me get up and go to basketball, where Mark Bartelstein of Priority Sports tells ESPN Kyle Lowry and the Raptors have agreed on a 1-year contract extension of $31 million that's correct, that will take him out of next year's free agent market. Of course, Lowry, a big piece of the Raptors winning the championship last year. Speaking of the championship, Game 3 of the WNBA Finals on Sunday. League MVP Elena Delle Donne back in the starting lineup for the Mystics. She had the back spasms. She contributed 13.6 boards, and they win it 94-81. So the Mystics are 1 win away from their first WNBA championship. And you can watch them try to win it on the road tomorrow night. We will have Game 4 of the WNBA Finals tomorrow, 8 Eastern on ESPN2, and you can watch it live on the ESPN app.